good to have you with us again today on Women of House. We're talking about rules and boundaries that we use in our home. Catherine is here with us today, too.
I wish you could have seen me, Tammy, crossing the highway with a baby in my arms, a toddler holding my hand, and another child hanging on to my skirt. We must have been a funny sight, but I wanted them to be safe.
Catherine, why were you crossing the road like a mother hen with her chickens?
We lived near a main highway with lots of trucks going by. We had to have pretty strict rules. Of course, the children could not go near the road without an adult. That was hard because on the other side of the highway was a shop where things like candy and ice cream were sold. Sometimes I took the children there for a treat, but they were never allowed to go by themselves. I still do this with my grandchildren. They don't always see the danger, and they want to pull away. But I love them too much to let them go their own way and get hurt.
Well, when I was a girl, I could hardly wait to be grown up so that I didn't have to follow all those rules that bossy adults made. And then, when we grew up, there were more rules. And when we became mothers, we suddenly understood why we tell our children what they can do and what they can't do. It's for their own protection.
That makes me remember times in our own home when we had to set up those boundaries. Of course, the children didn't always like them, but as you said, the rules were for their protection. We had rules in our house about eating everything on their plates because I wanted them to have good food that helped them grow. Let me tell you something I learned as a young mother. But I tried never to get upset with them about something they couldn't help. Sometimes if I was upset or angry, it was best for me to go away briefly and take some deep breaths so I would not lose control. Once I smacked a child too hard because I was really angry.
Oh, you must have felt awful.
I did, but it stopped me from acting in anger when I was upset. We can sometimes get frustrated about something, and I'm sorry to say we can take it out on our children. They don't deserve that. I think that good parents use rules and discipline fairly, not for their own power or their own convenience. When I had to punish a child for disobedience, I often found myself saying, I love you too much to let you do this.
That's true of other sorts of discipline, too. Like not being allowed to have their favorite toy for a while, or being sent to sit by themselves till they calm down. Often these are better than spanking. With older children, it's good to teach them the consequences of their behavior. Perhaps you won't let them go out with their friends if they've misbehaved last time. You know, new mothers often wonder how soon to start having rules.
You have to start very gently and very early, even before you think your child understands. You can make simple rules about where they keep their toys and how they spend their time. Then, if you have a big family like mine, the older ones will help teach the little ones. I had a friend who had 8 children, and she put them in teams. She paired an older child with a younger one. Their teams had chores, like doing the dishes, helping with cooking and cleaning, supervised by Mom, of course, and getting dressed for school. Rules and boundaries change over time, of course. As our children grew into teenagers, we had family rules, such as daily tasks and the time they had to be home each night. It could be changed for a special reason, but we parents had to know where they were going, who they were going with, and when they would be home. Those rules were not always very popular. The back door slammed. My teenage daughter was home from school. She was also angry. Finding me in the kitchen, she cried, "Why won't you let me go to Sally's party? Everyone I know is going. You never let me do anything that's fun." I repeated what her father and I had told her. "You can't go because we don't know Sally's family. We're not sure it would be safe for you to go." She turned and left, stomping her feet as she went to her room. Later, I heard her saying to a friend, "I'm sure my parents don't love me, or they'd let me go to the most important party of the year." I prayed there in the kitchen, "Lord, why are we always fighting these battles? What happened to my sweet little girl? Now she doesn't even hear what we say." 3 days later, the kitchen door slammed again. But this time my daughter wasn't angry. I turned to see a silly grin on her face. "Mom, you were right not to let me go to that party on Saturday. Mandy said it was awful. Sally's parents weren't even there. And the kids found some alcohol and some of them got drunk. I guess things got really bad because the neighbors called the police and everyone at the party was arrested. I'd have hated it if you and Dad had been called to pick me up at the police station." I prayed again. "Thank you, Lord. Your word tells us to guide our children in the way they should go. Thank you for today's encouragement." Do you sometimes just want to give up on this very hard job? But all those boundaries and rules done with love were worth all the effort. And dear friend, God is like that. He sets boundaries, sometimes called laws, to protect us because he loves us too much to let us go our own way and get hurt.
Well, it sounds as though Catherine's children needed to know what the rules were in order to feel secure. Wouldn't it be awful to be punished at random by some bossy ruler who just made up new rules to suit himself? That happens in some places. Schools, workplaces, even whole countries. And it makes people really scared. Well, God is not like that. His rules are just and fair, and he has shown them clearly to us.